Hello everyone, today we'll discuss about Apache Kafka tutorial. And so what exactly is this Apache Kafka? So Apache Kafka is a software platform which is based on the distributed streaming process. So it is a publish, subscribe messaging system so that which let the exchanging of data between two applications or two different services or two different processes will happen. So first, this Apache Kafka was originally developed by the LinkedIn, and after that, it was moved to the Apache Software Foundation. So that's from there we named it as the Apache Kafka. And as I discussed about the messaging system, right? It is called as a publish subscribe messaging system. So what exactly is the messaging system? So a messaging system is a simple exchange of messages between two persons or two devices. Like we publish some message and other system will subscribe that messaging system. So in Apache Kafka, who is sending that message, we call him as a producer. So sender will produce some messages or publish some messages, and the receiver is known as consumer. So who consumes the message by subscribing it. That is called as the messaging system. And also I've discussed about the streaming process. So what exactly is the streaming process? So streaming process is a kind of a process of data in a parallelly connected systems. So this process allows a different applications to limit the parallel execution of the data, right? So that is called the streaming of data, means sending some data into a different environments. Like we have a different apps. Let's in the if you see in the diagram, we can see we have different apps, and the Kafka cluster is sending the information to one app and sending the information to another app, and so producers are producing or giving some information to the Kafka cluster, and from the Kafka cluster the information is coming out to the different consumers who are subscribing it, right? So this is what a streaming of data will happen in between the parallel systems that we call as a streaming process in the Apache Kafka. And when we look into the Kafka architecture, so here we can see it's a high level architecture, let's say, and we have a producer who is producing some message or writing some message into the Kafka ecosystem, and we have a consumer who consumes that message. So here in the real time scenario, we may have multiple producers and multiple consumers, right? So everything will be a real-time systems, right? So what exactly it will there in the Apache Kafka ecosystem? So in the Kafka ecosystem, we have a Kafka cluster. So inside the Kafka cluster, we will have a broker. So that's divided into different brokers. Like we may have n number of brokers in a Kafka cluster. So broker one will, let's say example like broker one and broker two, and inside of a broker also it was divided into a topics, right? We will be having n number of topics created inside a single broker, like topic A, topic B, topic C, like that. We will be having n number of topics created inside a broker, and all this information need to be added in a zookeeper. So what exactly is this zookeeper? Zookeeper is nothing but it will have the broker ID. So whenever a producer producing some information on the Apache Kafka, so that means that information should store in some place. So that information will be stored in the Kafka cluster as a topic and also inside a broker ID. So that broker ID information and also topic information will be available on the zookeeper. So whatever messages the producer is writing in the broker and also in the topic, so all those information will be present in the zookeeper. And whenever a consumer want to consume some information, right? So consumers are subscribe. When they subscribe to this Kafka cluster, so they want to consume some information. How they will consume the information? Based on the topic ID or the broker ID. So how they will get the data? So they will connect to the zookeeper, and the zookeeper is the entity which provides the information of the broker ID and topic information and also the partition information, and also it will send the offset value. Like all this information will be sent to the consumer. So the zookeeper plays a vital role in Apache Kafka architecture, which is like which will store all the broker ID informations, and whenever a consumer want to know what exactly is the data present in that particular broker or in the particular topic, so they will get the data based on the broker ID. So this is something like the high level architecture of a Apache Kafka. As we have seen the high-level architecture as a Kafka-related things, now we will deep dive into what is this topic and what is this broker and what is this partition, how the data will be stored in that, and how the data will be consumed by the consumer. We'll see in the next slide. So this is something like we can say how the in-depth data will be stored in the Apache Kafka server. Like if you see here, we have a broker 1, broker 2, broker 3, and inside a broker we have n number of topics created, like topic X, topic Y. Under that we have a partition, and in broker 2 also we have topic X, topic Y, like that. Each and every broker will have multiple topics, right? And also each and every topic will have a multiple partitions. If you see here the topic X, let's say it has a partition 0, 1 and 2, 3, so on, like that. So all the data will be stored in the partition. So end of the day, the topic is just like a heading, okay, and it will generate an ID whenever you produce some data. So it just generate an ID. So that ID is nothing but a kind of a heading. So topic is kind of a heading, and whatever data the producer is producing it, right? So those data will be stored in the partitions. So okay, so that is the basic use of the partition. So it's like the topic will be splitting into several parts. We call that as a partition. So these partitions are separated in an order. The data content gets stored in the partition within the topic. So therefore we can say like a topic can have multiple partitions. And how they will store the data based on the offset value. Okay, based on the offset value, the data will get stored into each and every partition. So this is how it looks like inside a Kafka cluster. We have different brokers, broker 1, broker 2, broker 3, and so on, broker n kind of thing. And inside a single broker, we have multiple topics like topic X, topic Y, and inside a topic, we have a different partitions like this, partition 0, 1, and 2, like that. And the data means when producer produce some data, so the Kafka cluster will be writing the data into these partitions by selecting some offset values, and this is how it writes. So if you see in depth how the exactly the Kafka topic looks like, this is the way how it looks like. And so then we have another concept is like a replica. So topic replication thing. So what exactly is this replication? So replication is nothing but, like, let's suppose Apache Kafka is like, it's a distributed software system, right, in the real-time environment. And whenever there may be a chance of data loss can happen whenever a broker fails down, right? So in the Kafka, there is a feature like which enables the feature of like replication to secure the data loss even when the broker falls down. To do so, a replication factor is created for the topics contained in a particular broker. Let's say like this. So this topic 1 will have a replica, that means a copy, into the another broker. Let's say topic X, which have a partition 0, is having a replica in another broker, which is broker 2. You can see topic X partition 0, like that. And in the broker 2, you have a topic X partition 1. And this replica is, that means the copy of this particular topic will be there in the broker 3, topic X partition 1. So in that way, with the help of this replication factor, we can create multiple replicas of each and every topic, so that whenever one broker was down or is not responding, that means like we can get the topic information from another broker as well. So in this way, you will not see any downtime of exchanging of data between a producer and a consumer, right? So there will not be any downtime. And as I said, the main thing is the producers and the consumers, right? So the producers are the persons who will be producing the data into this broker 1, broker 2, broker 3, and topics and everything. And the consumers are the persons who will be consuming the data from these brokers, like from these topics. Like they'll be reading the data in an order. So this is how the exchange of data takes place from producer to the consumer. This is what exactly the overview or high level information about the Apache Kafka related things. Right? Thank you. In previous tutorials, we have seen what is the introduction for the Apache Kafka and what is exactly it is and what is the messaging system and what is the streaming process, how the streaming process happens between the cluster, Kafka cluster and producers and also consumers. And then we have seen what is the in detailing of the architecture of Kafka, how the producer sends the data to the Kafka system, and how the zookeeper will be handling all those Kafka IDs, broker IDs, and topic IDs, and everything, topic names, and how the consumer will be consuming that information from different brokers and different topics, right? And also we deep dive into the what is the topic and how the topic will be there and what are the partitions in the topics and how the data will be stored in each and every partition, right? And then after that we have also seen like the topic replication factor, which means like when a broker is down, let's say or when the broker 1 or broker 2 is failed to respond, there should be a backup for the topic, because there will be continuous messaging queue will be happening between a producer and also between a consumer, right? So there should not be any downtime. So for that, what we will do is like Kafka will do is like it will create a replica of one topic into a another topic in separate broker, so that if one broker got down, also the same type of topic ID and topic information, partition details, everything will be present in another broker also. So that with the help of a zookeeper, that zookeeper will be redirecting it to a different broker, so that you will not face any downtime of messaging of data between a producer and the consumer or two different servers. Then we have seen what is a producer and which will be publishing the data into the Kafka system and into the brokers and also into the topics. And that means like it will be writing the data into the systems. And we have seen a consumer as like he'll be consuming data from the systems, right? So this is like the theoretical way. And we see how we download the Apache Kafka and how we download the Zookeeper and how we set up it and how we see the exchange of data from producer to the consumer happens, right? So first, for that, we need to log in into the Apache Kafka site and we need to download the Apache Kafka. You can see these are the files which we need to download, and also we need to download the Zookeeper as well. And once it got downloaded, so it will be something like this. In our C folder, you can see we'll have this Kafka folder. So inside the Kafka folder, we need to do some initial setup. So what we need to do? So like we have this data folder. So inside a data folder, you need to create a folder with Kafka, and you need to create a folder with Zookeeper like this. So this is a folder structure we need to have. That's it. We need to create two different folders in data, which is a Kafka and which is a Zookeeper. And in the config folder, what we need to do is we need to in some property files for the zookeeper.properties and also server.properties. These two are the important properties. So what we need to change is, so in the zookeeper.properties, you need to change the data directory to this path. In the data folder, we have created a zookeeper folder, right? So we need to point our zookeeper properties, the directory as this one. And also in the server.properties, we need to find the Kafka, this server.properties related to the Kafka related. So we need to point this server.properties, the log.directories equals to like in which folder the Kafka is there. Inside the data folder, we have created a Kafka related folder newly. You can see here this one. So this is the place for Zookeeper and this is the place for Kafka. So why this is required is whenever you start a Zookeeper or whenever you start a Kafka, so all those topics, whatever you created, right, we'll create the topics and we'll create the partitions, right, everything. So all that information will get stored into these two different folders. One is in the Kafka folder, the Kafka related information will stored in the Kafka folder, and the Zookeeper related information will be stored in the Zookeeper folder. So for that, we need to do this initial setup. In the server.properties, make sure like you have the Kafka related folder, and in the Zookeeper.properties, make sure like you have the Zookeeper related folder. Okay. So next we'll see how we'll start the how we start this zookeeper, how we start the Kafka, and how we create a topic, and how we exchange of messages from one producer to another consumer, how that message of exchange will happen, right? So we'll see that in next coming video. And thank you.